إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله قاسم الجبارين، مدير الظالمين، مدرك الحاربين، والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماوات بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأطهرين، سيما أولهم أمير المؤمنين وآخرهم بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء، ورحمة الله على محبيهم ومواليهم وشيعتهم أجمعين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وقتلتهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكري فرائنهم ملعونين. أما بعد, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziya, for the enlightenment of the graves of our marhumin, of the graves of the shuhada, ulama and siddiqeen, for the shafa'ah of those that are ill, for the safety of the mu'mineen around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah ila a'azam arwahun al-fida. Please recite your loudest salawat. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one who is Rahman, one who is Rahim. We've reached the final lecture in our series, and it's pertinent at this point that I ask for your forgiveness if in any way, shape or form my words, my actions have offended you. If I've said something that's hurt someone, I hope that person can find it in their heart to forgive me. If in some way my actions were not up to your standards, I hope you can forgive me. And inshallah, I hope that you will continue to keep me in your du'as, as you will all continue to be in mine. And inshallah, our paths will cross again in the coming years, inshallah. And the whole purpose of these lectures was not to pinpoint problems within you per se, but rather highlight problems within myself that I have seen on my own journey. And so sharing those problems that I have had in my own journey upon my own path, in the hope that maybe someone who's struggling with those very same problems can benefit from my research, benefit from my struggle in that same way. So if I did offend anyone, then I hope you will forgive me, and we'll move forward with the loudest of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali. There have been a number of questions that have come my way over the last couple of nights, and the situation has not permitted me to be able to address them. But one question that has been constantly raised is the one that came from the ladies of how to prepare ourselves for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah, especially those that are going for Arba'een. Because that ziyarah itself is no ordinary calling, it's no ordinary visitation. This is that ziyarah when you look at the various narrations in the books like Kamil al-Ziyarah, you look at the benefit of the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah, you find that there is this constant encouragement of people to go for the ziyarah to Imam al-Hussein, even if it means that the person must take a loan from anyone else. There's a narration from Ahlul Bayt that says, even if you need to take a loan to come for the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein, take it, for we Ahlul Bayt will be the zamin of it. We Ahlul Bayt will be those that will repay it for you. So if that's how important the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah is. I said in the first lecture that the one that does the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah, كَمَنْ ذَارَ اللَّهَ فَوْقَ أَرْشِهِ, it is as if he has done the ziyarah of Allah upon the arsh. Or he does the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah, understanding the right of Imam al-Hussein, understanding why Imam al-Hussein went to Karbala, and then for that person it's different. وَجِبَتْ لَهُ الْجَنَّةِ. Now Jannah becomes wajib upon that person. So it's no small journey. And every time one goes, there should be another level of awakening, another level of ma'rifah, another level of understanding, another idol that falls within a person. But what often happens is that those of us that are accustomed to going to the ziyarah, we find ourselves going and ticking boxes. So now I need to go for the ziyarat of Har, I need to go for the ziyarat of this person, I need to go for the ziyarat of this person, oh I didn't do this ziyarat, quick. And we go with the intention that everywhere we go, we have to do it really quickly. And it's unfortunate that we find that with many tour groups as well, that there are people in there, especially those that are tour guides, have been there many times, and so in one sense they become desensitized to the whole experience, and they no longer feel that affiliation, that affinity to the whole experience. Why is it that we that go every year, we become slowly but surely desensitized? The first time I went, I was crying, I was emotional, I was an emotional wreck. The second time I went, it was less. The third time I went, it was less. The fourth time I go, now I'm laughing and joking. Now I find the opportunity to laugh and joke about the whole ziyarat experience, trying to find myself some way, some form of entertainment. But yet you find your Arafah, you find your Alama, you find those that are the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they go for ziyarah every year, even if they go every month, every time they see the dome of Abu Abdullah, tears fall, they faint, they fall at the door of Abu Abdullah. There's a difference. We who become accustomed to it going over and over, we never achieve the pinnacle of ziyarah. Because there's no preparation before. We get the ticket for ziyarah and we say, yeah, we're going, okay, we're going, and we carry on with our day-to-day lives, go, until we get on the flight. Now we reach to Najaf, we reach to Karbala, having just, left work the day before, our mind now focused on the ziyarah. So now we try and do it, but we can't concentrate in reciting the ziyarah. We find our mind wandering. We begin to become, lethargic when it comes to the ziyarah. Usually when we go on the first time, we can stay up the whole night. We have that desire, we have that passion. I know of many groups, people go with them, they come back and they say, didn't really enjoy it. It was my first time, but I was made to rush because everyone else had been there many times. Yeah? And you find that in groups. Or that we went and our tour guide was just, laughing, or there were people in our group that had been many times and I was eager to go to the Haram, but everyone else wasn't because they'd been so many times. So they were like, I'm going to wait till the rush goes down. Yeah, so people are constantly find themselves being slowly but surely desensitized. So how is it that we counter that desensitization? And that is that the preparation for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah starts from before. It doesn't start the moment that we land in Najaf. It doesn't start the moment that we land in Karbala. But rather that preparation starts from before. That a person now mentally, spiritually, physically prepares themselves for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah. What do we do? The only preparation that we do if we're walking between Najaf and Karbala is that we want people to sponsor us nowadays. Because we think that is some huge achievement. Ulama in the ages of 70 and 80 used to walk every week from Najaf to Karbala. Just because now us from the modern world have decided to go for the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein, now we need sponsorship. It's different if we say we're going to, get charity, we're gathering charity to go and distribute to those that are the aitam, the orphans. Don't call it sponsorship. This is ibadat. This walk between Najaf and Karbala, inshallah, it doesn't happen here. In the West, it happens a lot. This walk between Najaf and Karbala is ibadat. It isn't something that I just go and it's, I need sponsorship for it. No, it's ibadat. I don't get my namaz, my 100 rakat namaz on Laylatul Qadr sponsored. Well, it's the same idea. Tell people you're gathering donations that you will distribute on their behalf. That point aside, how do we prepare for the ziyarat of Imam Hussein? Different advices come to us, but the main thing is that a person starts to focus specifically and prepare themselves specifically by abstaining from sin, by staying away from the muharramat, fulfilling their wajibat, and maybe increasing the mustahabbat that they're doing in order to prepare themselves to visualize that journey, in order to illuminate their inner self. What happens is, it's like someone who climbs to a mountain, and you see people wanting to go every year after every year because they want to try and achieve something. But what happens is they never reach the pinnacle. What happens is we want to climb a mountain and we get ready for an expedition, but there are those people that don't get ready. And so they get halfway and all they see are clouds. And they never enjoy the whole experience. It's never an enlightening experience. So they get halfway, all they see is clouds, they come back down again. Those that train go beyond the clouds, they reach the peak and they see the views. The same with the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah. If we're not physically, spiritually, mentally preparing ourselves and training ourselves for the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein, when we go there, we're only going to reach the level of the clouds. And we won't ever be able to manifest or see that manifest mercy of God that exists there. The ziyarat of Abu Abdullah is no ordinary thing, where they say that there are certain angels that surround the grave of Imam al-Radha. For Abu Abdullah, they say there's 70,000 malaika that encircle the grave on a permanent basis. And every day 70,000 more malaika come and join them. 140,000 malaika circumambulate the grave of Abu Abdullah. When this first contingent of 70,000 goes back, the narration says they never get a chance again, because there's another group of 70,000 waiting, coming to do the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah. This is the place where the malaika come. The reason I can't benefit from it is because I lived such a godless life before it. And I hope somehow to go for the penance of my sins. When I go there, what is it that's going through my mind? What is it that I'm thinking about? Oh, this place has got good food. When Syria was open, and now alhamdulillah, inshallah, it becomes fully open. People used to worry about, oh, this hammam is good, huh? If you go for the ziyarah, this hammam is nearby. You go get a massage afterwards. This is what people were worried about. And now when they go there, we're more worried about food. Oh, where are we going to get? Do you know, are there any Indian style food restaurants here? Because I don't want to eat this local stuff. Huh? People are more worried about their stomachs. People are more worried about their luxuries than actually being able to view the divine mercy that exists within those holy places. You have certain maqamat there that you go and we're unable to even manifest or prepare or benefit in its totality. Even if we, remove all the other ziyarat and focus just on Sayyid al-Shuhada, we get halfway and then we come back feeling slightly unsatisfied. No, I need to go again. But actually, if I'd prepared myself in this journey. So I start with abstaining from sin. Then fulfilling my wajibat. Every day thinking over the journey, thinking over my relationship with my Imam. Am I really truly worthy of going? Doing istighfar to the point that tears fall from my eyes. Because tears falling from the eyes are the sign that your istighfar has been accepted. If you're sitting there with the tasbih, astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. You see Laylatul Qadr. Now brothers and sisters, we're going to do 70 times astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. How many is it? Oh, 10. Astaghfirullah. When we're doing the istighfar, if tears haven't fallen, it's not accepted. Istighfar must come from the heart. Now in order to reach that pinnacle that is available to me in Karbala, this heart must be ready to receive the blessings that are there, to receive that ma'rifah. For it, the land needs to be clean. So now I need to do istighfar. I need to do good actions. In addition to that, I need to soften my heart. And one of the ways to soften the heart is reduce the meat that we eat. In preparation for Karbala, the teachers of Akhlaq and the Arafah say that do not eat meat, because meat hardens your heart. So when you go to Karbala, you won't be able to benefit from it. You need to make the heart soft. So in preparation, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before you go, stop eating meat. This is not wajib, by the way. I'm giving you, these are mustahab actions. But actions that have reached us from those scholars that have been able to achieve those levels of greatness. The reduction of meat. The reduction in what we say. You know, we spoke about it yesterday. When we stay quiet. And we begin, and these are the ways that we prepare ourselves. Then when we go for the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, then when we go for the ziyarat of Al-Askariyin, or we go for the ziyarat of Amirul Mu'mineen, we'll begin to see what? That a level has increased within us. That we're able to achieve a level of ma'rifah. That when we see the Imam and we see that, don't tears fall from our eyes. There is that draw, that pull, that voice that we hear. When we say, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, the reply must come, Wa alaykum salam. And we should hear it. When we're there on the ziyarah, we control our eyes, we control our tongue, control our laughing. Especially on our way to Karbala, especially in Karbala. Laughing and joking, if it means to separate yourself from people and become a hermit and stay within your room, then do that. Because that is far more beneficial than to sit amongst people that make us laugh and joke while we sit in the city of Karbala during those days. Withdraw ourselves. Control our eyes. They say one of the ulama saw in a dream. He saw Imam Rada, and he says that when I saw him in Alim al-Ru'ya, I was going for the ziyarat of the Imam. He says, when I entered the Darih, I saw the body of the Imam, but the body of the Imam was filled with arrows. He says, I addressed the Imam, I said, Yabna Rasulillah, I heard that you were poisoned. Then why is it that I find these arrows in your body? And the Imam replies to him, these arrows were not given to me by my enemies. These arrows were fired at me by my own followers. Says Imam, how is it? Says when they come for my ziyarah, they look at na Muharram with those eyes of lust. We're there next to the Imam. At that point, there should be this utter humiliation within ourselves and total annihilation of our own selfish desires and pride. And then when we go for the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, at that point, in that understanding, then we get to gain the ma'rifah of the Imam. When we go for the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, then that is when we're able to enter Jannah through Babul Hussein. Because the narration says that Inna al-Hussein babun min abwabil Jannah, that Hussein is one of the doors of Jannah. Hell has 7 doors, heaven has 8 doors. The 8th door of heaven is known as Babul Hussein, the door of Imam al-Hussein. This is the door where those that went on the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah will enter from. This is the door where those who were volunteers in the Majalis of Aba Abdullah entered from. This is the door where those who helped straighten the shoes of the Azadar of Sayyid al-Shuhada will enter from. This is that door where those that gave niyaz in the way of Aba Abdullah will enter from. This is that door where those who sponsored the Majalis of Abi Abdullah will enter from. This is that door where those that came and made sure the Husayniyah was ready for those that are the Azadar to come. That is the door where they will enter from. There is a door reserved for us. But we require that ma'rifah. So when we go on that journey, let us make sure that we prepare ourselves, not when we reach there, but from today. We start preparing from today. The abstinence of sin, the purification of the soul, that istighfar, so that when we land in Najaf or we land in Baghdad and we go for the ziyarah, the moment that we see those domes or we hear the masail, the tears begin to fall from our eyes. So this is that matter. Yesterday we started a hadith from the Holy Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Holy Prophet explains the pride of man. He says, "Iftakharu nas fi dunya ala sittati awjuh." Says the pride of man in the world is based upon 6 things. We discussed 2 of them yesterday. The first thing that he says, "Awwaluhu biwajhi al-hasan." The first is they are proud over their good looks. Then what is it that we will do with those that are proud of their good looks? We will grab them by their hair and burn their faces in the fire. Such a burning that their lips will retract and only their teeth will be shown. We spoke about it yesterday. وَثَانِي بِالْفَصَاحَةِ. And the second point that people are proud of is their eloquence. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. For on that day, why are they so proud over their eloquence? For on that day we will seal their mouths, and their hands and their feet shall bear witness against them and tell us unto what actions they did. If I look at my own hands and my own feet, what is it that they will reveal about me to Allah? A person will look towards his hands and his organs on the day of judgment and say, why is it that you're telling me? It says, Ya Allah, He forced us to do this. You say, you're part of me. They said, no, you forced us to do this. And they will bear witness and they will begin to speak. Ya Allah, He made us do this. He made us go to this place. He made us act in this way. The third thing, لَمَنْ افتخر بالمال والولد. Why are they so proud over their children and their wealth? يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون. For on that day neither children nor wealth will come to their aid. And could I ask everyone just to move slightly forward so that those that are coming afterwards don't have to hop over everyone's heads. Recite salawat and please come. says, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ. For on that day neither children nor wealth will come to their aid. On the day of judgment, neither a person's wealth nor his children will come. They will not avail him. They will not help him in any way, shape or form. From the moment a person dies, or the moment he sees Malakul Maut, one foot enters into the barzakh. Now the doors are closed. Now there's no going back. And a number of things happen. And we don't have time to talk about all the peculiarities of barzakh, but one of the things that happens is this person now, as Malakul Maut begins to take his soul. Because the first thing that happens, he says, the Malakul Maut will point to the person and his tongue will stop working. Now he can hear, he can see, but he can't say anything to his loved ones. They're coming, they're saying to him, Baba, are you okay? He can't say anything. Then Malakul Maut will seal the ears of the person. Now he can't say anything, he can't hear anything. People will be coming, they'll be holding him, they'll be crying against him, but there will be nothing that he can do, nothing that he can reply. His limbs will be pointed at, they will stop working, now he can't embrace. And then at the final point, Malakul Maut will point to the eyes, and now darkness shall descend in front of that person. And the first people that he sees on his left and right, two young men, says, who are you? Says, we are those individuals, or we are those angels that sat on your left and right shoulder. And we wrote down everything that you did. Read your book of deeds. Now that the person has entered into the barzakh, now time has no boundary, now time is ample. In the outside, in the physical world, everything is happening. But here it's as if hours are passing. There only minutes have passed. He sees his book of deeds, reads his good deeds, he's happy. Every moment of good that he did, every door that he held open for someone, every time he gave way to someone, it's all there. Now someone else, the other one comes forward, hands the book of bad deeds. And now this person begins to read his bad deeds. And they begin to see that every moment that they did bad, all those deeds that they thought that no one else knew, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew. And he begins to look at it. And he begins to weep over it. Every thought, every movement of the eye. In dua, tawbah, what do we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Oh Allah, forgive me. Min lahadhat aini, from the movements of my eyes, those eyes that strayed towards haram, when no one knew I was looking at that haram. Says Allah, forgive me, but they will have written it within that book of deeds with such accuracy. At this time, at this second, you look towards this thing. Your thoughts were like this, and this is what you did, to the point that this person will begin to weep and say, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرًا. Says, what is this book? It hides nothing, but it hides neither the small nor the large sins. Everything is within it. Now when these two go, he sees three people appear next to him. In this realm, we enter what is known as tajassamul a'mal. That a person's a'mal begin to take form. Later on in the barzakh, they take other forms. At this point, he turns to these three individuals. He looks at the first, nice and healthy, says, who are you? He says, I am the manifestation of your wealth. Says, my wealth. I spent day and night chasing you. I didn't look at halal and haram for you. I bent the rules of the sharia so that I could get to you. I overstepped the boundaries of the religion so that I could acquire you. My wealth, you must come to my aid at this moment. The reply will come, yes, we will buy you kafan. We will buy you your kafan. After this, I'm of no use to you. He will turn to the second one. Who are you? Says, I am the embodiment of your children. Says, my children. I did not look at halal and haram for you. I made sure that I allowed you to sleep so you wouldn't pray Salat al-Fajr because you had an exam in the morning. I made sure that the religion was secondary for you so that you could progress in your life. I made sure that I worked so hard that I could send you to the best universities in the land. I was the one that stayed chasing you day and night so that you would become something. I made sure that I bent the rules of the Sharia for you. My children, surely you must help me at this time. They will reply, yes, Father, we will carry you to the grave. After that, you're alone. Then he looks towards the third. Skinny, weak. Says, you, I don't know. I don't want to know who you are. It seems as though you cannot help me. Says, no, but I am the one that will remain with you. Says, who are you? Says, I am the embodiment of your a'mal. I am the embodiment of your actions from the dunya. I am the embodiment of that naqis salah, of that inattentive salah that you did. I'm the embodiment of that fast. Though you were hungry and thirsty, your eyes were committing haram, your tongue was committing haram. I am the embodiment of that khums that you did not pay. I am the embodiment of the weakness of your faith. I will stay with you. And whatever little a person acquires, that now carries on with him into the journey of the akhirah. Weak, unable to defend. When he enters into the grave and the adhab of the grave begin to come, the first thing to be thrown out is this young man, the embodiment of the a'mal. And the punishment begins. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Holy Prophet, لَمَنْ افْتَخَرَ بِالْمَالِ وَالْوَلَدِ. Why are they so proud over their children and their wealth? يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ. For on that day neither children nor wealth will come to their aid. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Except those that have achieved that qalb salim, that purified heart. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Surah A'la, Surah Shams. Have you ever thought why it is that it is recommended to recite these two surahs on Salat al-Eid? After 30 days of fasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders us to recite in Salat al-Eid Surah al-Shams and Surah al-A'la. Both of them have this same line: successful is the one that has purified his soul. Because it's that purification that brings success. It's to remind us on the day of Eid, this isn't the day where you now turn back on your music. This isn't the day where you start throwing your parties. No, this is the day where you address your nafs. And you make sure and you remind yourself that you will purify it. It says neither wealth nor children will come to their aid. No matter what pride they held in this world. So it's of no use to them. Their children nor their wealth. Nothing will avail a person at that moment. There they are alone. As Imam Sajjad says in Dua, Abu Hamza Thumali says, فَمَالِ لَا أَبْكِي. Says, for what reason should I not cry? أَبْكِي لِخُرُوجِ نَفْسِي أَبْكِي لِذِيقِ لَحَدِي أَبْكِي لِظُلْمَةِ قَبْرِي أبكي لسؤال منكر ونكير إياي أبكي لخروج من قبري عريانا ذليلا حاملا ثقلي على الظهر أنظر مرة عن يميني وأخرى عن شمالي إذ الخلائق شأن غير شأني. Says, for what reason should I not cry? أبكي لخروج نفسي. I cry for the time when my soul will be taken from my body. See, that taking of the soul from the body can be the single most painful thing that a person has experienced within their life. They say that when some of the youth of Bani Israel came across the grave, they raised their hands, said, Ya Allah, allow us to speak to this person that is in the barzakh. When that person came forth towards them, they said to him, tell us about death. He said, I can't tell you about death. It was too painful. I can't explain it to you. They say, try. He says, let me tell you this much, that 99 years have passed since my death, and still I can feel the pain from where Malik al-Maut ripped my soul from my body. Amir al-Mu'mineen says in Nahj al-Balagha, when he's speaking about death, he says, فَغَيْرُ مَوْصُوفٍ. Ali can't explain to you that moment, how difficult that moment is. The Holy Prophet is walking with his companions. He sees a sheep being slaughtered. The Holy Prophet turns to his companions and says, imagine, this sheep was alive and they ripped its skin from its body. How painful would it be? They said, Ya Rasulullah, so painful. We can't even comprehend the amount of pain. The Holy Prophet replies, death is 1,000 times more painful. He sees the sweet sellers. He's with his companions. He says, imagine a man was to be thrown in this boiling syrup. How painful would it be if he was alive? He would feel every moment how painful. They said, Ya Rasulullah, so painful, nothing more painful than this in our lives. The Holy Prophet says, death is 1,000 times more painful. This is why Sajjad is saying, Abki li khuruj nafsi. I cry for the moments that my soul will be ripped from my body. أبكي لضيق لهدي. I cry for the narrowness of my grave. A grave that is 6 foot by 4. A grave that has barely enough breathing room for a person. And then that grave that becomes narrower when the fishar qabr happens. The sixth Imam says, there are very few people on this earth that will be saved by the fishar qabr. Everyone will experience the fishar qabr. This is when the walls of the grave begin to crush the person, and his ribs begin to intertwine with each other. They break and they come out to the extent that they say that the eyes will begin to pop from the skull. أبكي لضيق لحدي أبكي لظلمة قبري. I cry for the darkness of my grave. A grave that has brought, a person that has brought no a'mal with it will be in perpetual darkness. أبكي للسؤال منكر ونكير إياي. I cry for the time when Munkar and Nakir will come and question me. The questioning of Munkar and Nakir is very difficult. We don't have time to go into the questions that Munkar and Nakir will ask. Some of them we recite in the talqeen when we're about to bury that person. But there are 3 more questions after those 6 questions where we tell the person about the book of Allah, about the Imams, about Allah, about the Prophet, all of that aside, that we recite in talqeen. There is another thing that that person will be asked about. 3 things. The first thing will be, we gave you wealth, where did you spend it? The second thing is, we gave you ni'mah, we gave you blessings in this world, what did you do with them? The third thing is, we gave you youth, what did you do with it? We gave you wealth, where did you put your money? We gave you blessings of health, we gave you the blessings of children, we gave you the blessings of a house, we gave you the blessings of safety, we gave you the blessings of being able to speak. We gave you the blessings of being able to hear. We gave you the blessings of being able to see. We gave you the blessings of being able to smell. We gave you the blessing of being able to walk. We gave you the blessing of being able to touch. What did you do with them? We gave you the blessing of youth. Where did you spend your youth? When you were young, what did you do? In Munajat Sha'baniya, we recite إلهي وقد أفنيت عمري في شرة الصحو عنك وأبليت شبابي في سقرة التباعد منك. That's my Lord. إلهي وقد أفنيت عمري في شرة الصحو عنك. My Lord, I have intoxicated my life, my youth, in committing the crime of forgetting you. وَأَبْلَيْتُ شَبَابِي فِي سَقَرَةِ التَّبَاعُدِ مِنْكَ. And I have intoxicated, I have destroyed my youth in staying away from you. This is Munajat Sha'baniya. When I am young, what is it when I have the strength to stand and recite Salatul Layl? Why is it that I don't do it? Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes so proud amongst the malaika, the narration says, the malaika see certain nur that come up from the earth and illuminates the heavens, the same way that the stars illuminate the earth for the dwellers of the earth. The malaika question, Ilahi, what is this light that is illuminating the heavens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with full pride says, my malaika, this is that youth that is standing for Salatul Layl. Your nur illuminates the heavens. The only thing a person will take into the grave are their a'mal, their actions, their good deeds, their bad deeds. And yes, there may be shifa'ah. Yesterday we explained, those that consider namaz to be light, the Imam says there is no shifa'ah for them. There is no shifa'ah for them. Those that don't pray on time, those that delay, those that pray one day, miss another day. Amir al-Mu'mineen says that I will do intercession, I will intercede for all those that claim to be, or all those that are my Shi'as, but some of them will need to burn for 100,000 years in hell before I do so. And believe me, you don't want to burn in hell. The fire of this dunya has been washed 70 times before it entered this world. In the akhirah, it is at its full force. In the hell, it is at its full force. So the only thing a person will take into the grave is their good actions. Nothing else. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَمَنْ افتخر بالقوة. Why are they so proud over their strength in this world? عليهم ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم. For on that day above them shall be angels that will have all the power, and they shall not obey anyone except the command of Allah. On that day, no matter how strong I was in this dunya, no matter how strong I thought I was in this dunya, on that day there will be angels over me that will be stronger. And every time something goes wrong, they will strike my head. You know the single strike of Munkar and Nakir in the grave. They say if all the jinn and the men were to gather together, and they were all to try and withstand one strike of Munkar and Nakir's mace, that they strike the person who cannot answer those questions correctly in the grave, they say that all of jinn and man would be obliterated. No one would be able to withstand that strike of Munkar and Nakir. On that day, there will be angels above them. No strength, nothing. On that day, there is no quwwah, illa billah. Except Allah. Except Allah. And on that day, those will be powerful that annihilated themselves and realized their weakness in the dunya in front of Allah. Then the final thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the fifth thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَمَنْ افتخر بالحسب والنسب. Why are they so proud on their lineage and their descent and their families? Or what tribe they belong to? فَلَا أَنْصَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ. For on that day there will be no kinship, no relationship between them. On that day they will be alone. Those that are proud of their lineage, those that are proud of the tribe they come from, those that are proud of their families, on that day there will be no family, there will be no pride, there will be no tribe, there will be no kinship on that day. A person will be alone on that day. A mother will run from her son, a father from his daughter. No one. People will go around begging. Certain individuals whose scale of deeds is tipped towards hell, they will go around, they'll run towards their mothers. Say, mother, please give me something. Says, no, on this day I need everything for myself. Even a mother will not avail to her son's aid. That mother that did everything for her son in the dunya. There's another point here. The amount of pain that we cause our mothers in our young age. Our parents as a whole. And how we forget the right of our mother over us. In Asalat al-Huquq, Imam al-Sajjad, salawatullah wa sallam, the Imam says, and the right of your mother is that you should know أنها حملتك حيث لا يحمل أحد أحدا وأطعمتك من ثمرة قلبها لا يطعم أحد أحدا. You should know that the right of your mother is that you should acknowledge that she carried you in a place where no one carries anyone. And she fed you that fruit of her heart that no one feeds anyone. And she bore the difficulties of carrying you. And she bore the pains of holding you. Until the divine hand expelled you upon the earth. And now when you entered the earth, she did not care whether she sat in the sun as long as you had shade. She did not care whether she was hungry as long as you were fed. She did not care whether she was naked as long as you were clothed. She did not care if she had to go through difficulty. تباشر حر الدنيا وبردها لك دونك. She bore the difficulties of this world in order to bring you into this world. Her lap was your throne. Her bosom was your drink. And then the Imam says, but you will never be able to thank her except if Allah gives you the tawfiq to do so. So ask Allah for the tawfiq. That mother that did everything for a human being, a mother that did everything for their child. And then in anger I turn back and say, you never did anything for me, you never shown. Parents are those entities of Allah. Wherever Allah speaks about His obedience, He speaks about the obedience of the parents. It says even if your parents are kafir, obey them. It doesn't matter if they're Shia, Sunni, they're Hindu, Christian. You're a Muslim, you obey them. Unless they tell you to go against the teachings of Allah. It says your parents. What is the role of a parent? I often say, many times I've been called to recite Majalis for those whose parents have died. And I say, we don't weep over the loss of the physical entity. Rather, we should be weeping for what? That one of the doors of the rahmah of Allah have closed upon us. Says if you want your dua to be accepted, you have problems in your life, go to your mother and ask your mother to pray for you. Allah will accept and remove those problems for you. If your mother's not alive, then go to your father. And if he's not alive, then go to the grave of your mother and ask Allah for the sake of your mother to give you that. And ask for your mother to pray for you from the barzakh to help you in your difficulty. And I, in my arrogance, speak to my parents in such a way. The one that is aqi walidain, the one that is disowned by his parents, says he will not smell the scent of Jannah. And it is a scent that travels 70 years. The one that has been disowned by the parents. What does it mean to be disowned by the parents? Ayatollah Dastaghaib Shirazi says in Gunahan Kabira, he says that even if a father looks at his son with anger, that child has become up in the eyes of Allah. Even the look of anger, let alone all the difficulty and the pain that we put them through. فَلَا أَنْصَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ. On that day there will be no one that will come to their aid, even their mothers. Even the mother that is suckling her child will throw her child to the ground and run. That is the day of judgment. So why are they so proud over their lineages and their descent in this world, when over there it's of no use to them? لَمَنِ افْتَخَرَ بِالْمُلْكِ. Why are they so proud of their kingdom? لَمَنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَحَّارِ. For whose kingdom is it on this day, Allah says, except for the kingdom of God. And this term will be constantly shouted out across the earth when everyone stands on the plains of Mahshar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep on calling out, لَمِنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ. Tell me, whose kingdom is it today? Tell me whose kingdom. You were proud over your wealth in the world. You were proud over the things that you owned, the houses that you owned, the land that you owned. You were so proud over it. Now tell me, because of that pride in the land, in the houses, in that kingdom that you had, you began to look down upon others. You would turn away from others. You would treat others badly. You couldn't be bothered to get up and pour your own drink in a restaurant. You would tell someone, come pour my drink for me. You couldn't be bothered to move something, so you found someone else that was working there, move this for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, you had that takabbur in the world because you had money then. لَمِنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ. Tell me, whose kingdom is it today? Now where is your kingdom? Where is your wealth? Where is your looking down upon people? Where is that part of your life where you refused to carry your own burdens and gave your burdens to others to carry? لَمِنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. For today, this is only the kingdom of God. This will be cried out twice. Once on the plains of Mahshar, once when the horn will be blown and everything killed and destroyed. At that moment, the earth will lie stagnant for millennia. And over this millennia, Allah will just repeat this line, لَمِنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ. Whose kingdom is it today? When our bodies lie dead upon the earth, buried in the ground, Allah will call out, And Allah, I am Allah. All that pride that we have here, that I can't be bothered to get up and get my own shoes, I want someone else to bring them for me. I can't be bothered to pour my own drink that's in front of me, and I'm telling someone, pour my drink. It's all signs of takabbur. We don't think we think, oh, it's culture, this is what we do around here. It's takabbur. It is what will damn a person to hell. Because I believe myself better than some other human, some other creature of God. Some other creature of God. Not just humans. There are animals in this world, according to the Sharia, that are najis, but they're not bad. Allah does not create imperfection. He creates everything perfect. Even if it's a street dog that you're kicking out of your way, he will complain to Allah. Yes, it's najis. According to Sharia, it's najis. Yes, it chases away the angels of rahmah for those people that keep dogs in their home. But it is not created imperfect or bad. Allah does not create imperfection or anything bad. So every time I do dhulm upon this earth, upon the creatures of Allah, upon this earth, I will be questioned. There are narrations that say on Yawmul Qiyamah, insects that were killed out of no purpose of their own, i.e. they posed no threat to me. There was just a spider on the wall and I just had to crush it. Or there was a lizard going across, I just had to destroy it. It posed no threat to me. It was just near my house. Just in my house. Instead of catching it and putting it outside, I killed it. It will stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, Ya Allah, this person killed me. Not just human beings, the creatures of Allah, the trees that we cut down, the littering that we do. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. That's that day the earth will start to bring forth its secrets. Man will say, what has happened? And she will begin to tell of all that befell her. That littering, that pollution, all of those cutting down of greenery that we do. We will be questionable for all of this. The amount of rubbish that we pump out. The litter that I have in my car and I can't be bothered to wait till I get to a bin. I just throw it out my window on the street. I will be questionable. We have the Majalis of Aba Abdullah. Everyone has their plates and their thing, and they just throw them wherever they want. And whoever else is in the Hussainiyah, they can come pick it up afterwards. This is their job. Dhulm on another person. I explained this a couple of days ago. We pick it up, we throw it down. We will be answerable. These are minutiae, these are the small things. It's all about being a good human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on that day, لَمِنِ الْمُلْكَ الْيَوْمِ, says, whose kingdom is it today? You lived upon the earth with that pride. Pride in your good looks. Pride in your eloquence. Pride in your family and your lineage. Pride in your wealth and your children. Pride in your power. Pride in your kingdom. Tell me now, where is that pride? Where does pride take us? I've said over the last few nights, the result of pride is Karbala. The result of pride is the army of Yazid. If I don't destroy pride from within myself, I will form the modern day army of Yazid against my Imam. Let it not be the case. I need to annihilate that pride from myself so that I slowly begin to remove it from myself and purify myself, so that I may recognize my Imam. Because as we've said over the last few nights, there were many that knew who the Imam was. They accepted he was right, but did not have the courage to come and join him. Did not have the courage to come and join him. And because of that lack of courage, they took part in the most heinous act. They killed the family of the Prophet. They killed Abu Abdullah. They mutilated the body of Abu Abdullah. But even worse than that, they took Banat Rasulullah as prisoner. They took the daughters of Rasulullah as prisoner. And such tragedies befell them that Sajjad cried for 35 years. And when they would come and ask him that, Imam, why is it that you cry? Shahadat is something for you that you should be proud of. He said then, and our women and daughters being paraded through the streets? Our women and daughters being paraded through the streets, those that have fathers and daughters, those that are fathers, those that have sisters, those that have daughters. How protective are you of your daughters when they leave the home, and the way that they are dressed and the way that they are? How protective are you of their safety? But these were Banat Rasulillah. That everywhere that they went, from Kufa to Shab, they would come to them and say, who are you? Say, Nahnu Banat Rasulillah. We are the daughters of Rasulullah. I said, the daughters of Rasulullah being paraded in such a way. There was one place that made Sajjad cry more. They asked him, Imam, where was the most musibah upon you? And Imam said 3 times, Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham. That it was in Sham, it was in Sham, it was in Sham. Nu'man ibn Manzal al-Madaini comes to the Imam. Says, Yabna Rasulillah, you say Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham. But what was it that happened in Sham? Imam says, Nu'man, there were a number of things that befell us in Sham. The first thing that befell us was that when we were about to enter into Sham, they took the heads of the shuhada upon spears, and they placed the heads of the shuhada by the neck next to the women. They placed the head of Akbar in front of Layla. They placed the head of Qasim in front of Farwa. They placed the head of Abu Fadl al-Abbas in front of Kulthum. They placed the head of Abi Abdullah in front of Zainab. He says, Nu'man, there came times when they would play with the heads upon the spears. They would hit the heads together, and at times, Nu'man, as we were walking, the heads would fall from the spears and be crushed under the feet of the camels. The second reason, Nu'man, is that when we entered into Sham, they brought the drummers and the dancers around the daughters of Ali and Batul. They played their drums and they danced around the daughters of Ali and Fatima. The third reason, Nu'man, is that as we were being paraded, they placed a person to announce, these are those that fought against the Khalifa. They have no honor in Islam. Come and take your revenge from them. They all would come out and begin to attack the daughters of Ali and Zahra. The fourth reason, Nu'man, is that the women of Sham, they climbed on top of their houses and they would set fire to pieces of wood and they would boil water and they would throw it at the daughters of Ali and Batul. He says, Nu'man, at one point they set fire to wood. The wood fell upon my amama. My amama caught fire. Nu'man, my hands were tied. I couldn't extinguish the fire. The fifth reason, Nu'man, is that they took us to the area of the Jews and the Christians, and here they announced that these are those that killed your elders in Khaybar and Khandak. Come and take your revenge from them. Nu'man, not a single Jew or Christian remained within the home except that they came out with sticks in their hands and they began attacking the daughters of Ali and Batul. The sixth reason, Nu'man, is that we were taken to the marketplace of slaves where they tried to sell the daughters of Ali and Batul as slaves. Here, if it was not for the divine intervention of Allah, they would have sold the daughters. But through the intervention of Allah, we were saved from there. The seventh reason, Nu'man, is that they kept us in that prison of Sham, that prison that had no roof. During the day, our children would suffer from the heat of Sham. At night, they had no protection from the coldness of the night. These are the reasons why I cry, Asham, Asham. Sajjad wept for Sham for 35 years. But there was one thing that came to the mind of Sajjad when the poison began coursing through the body of Imam al-Sajjad and his final moments came to him. Imam al-Baqir says, I ran towards my father. I placed my head on the chest of my father and began wailing loudly. My father opened his eyes and Imam al-Sajjad began crying loudly. He says, Father, did I hurt you in any way? Father, I'm sorry. Sajjad says, no, my son, I'm not crying because you hurt me. My son, today you are on my chest, but my mind goes back to Karbala, that today you are on my chest. But Shamar was on the chest of my father. He held the beard of my father. He began striking the head of Abi Abdullah. حلا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the sake of these tears. Ya Allah, forgive our sins. Ya Allah, forgive the sins of our parents. Ya Allah, those of our parents that are alive, give them long lives. Those of our parents that have left this world, give them a place next to Ali Muhammad in Jannah. Oh Allah, for the sake of these tears and for the sake of the illness of Imam al-Sajjad, Ya Allah, those that are ill, give them shifa'ah. Ya Allah, those that are in debt, clear their debts. Ya Allah, keep our ulama and our maraji at the head of our institutions. Ya Allah, keep safe the Azadar of Sayyid al-Shuhada around the world. Ya Allah, destroy the enemies of Azadari, both internal and external around the world. Ya Allah, hasten the reoccurrence of the Imam of our time and allow us to be amongst his true muntadhireen, his true waiters for the acceptance of these du'as and any other du'as that the brothers and sisters have brought. Please recite 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.